In China, if you're a woman, single, and over 30, you are called 剩女, which means leftover woman in Mandarin. In Cantonese, you are called 羅底橙, 賣剩蔗, and 攝造辣, which means orange at the bottom of the basket, the sugar cane that didn't get sold, and the thing used for filling the gap of the stove.
All right, there hasn't really been a lot of passport bro news lately, but there were just two stories that popped up. One was this one back in November 2024, about a month ago. And then there was another one that just popped up on World Star Hip Hop, which I'm going to get to in a minute. So anyway, the story is from tuko.co.ke, which I guess stands for Kenya, or their domain server. Kenyan ladies irked by Black American man claiming he's the prize. Price. Wait, they got it wrong. It's not price, it's prize. But see, this is what happens. You got these journalists who, they don't understand our language that much. So, and I guess it could happen either way. But yeah, he's the prize, not the price. Price is how much we have to pay for good. Prize is something you win. But anyway, it says, you want what we have. It says, a Black American man who moved to Kenya in 2023 has gone viral with the term passport bros on social media. Brandon Odira has been advising his fellow Black Americans to move to Kenya since life is cheaper. Okay, first of all, let me just say it like this. As an African American or African kidnapped by America or whatever Malcolm X wants to say I am, bottom line is I ain't moving to Africa. I've been to Seychelles, and that's probably like one of the best possible places Africa has to offer. And the reality is, there's like nothing there. It's like, I'm a city guy at this point. I'm used to having all of these goods and services and stuff at a whim. Like, for example, from where I am right now, if I want specific types of food, if I want Polish food, if I want Mexican food, if I want Dominican, I could go anywhere in any direction and I can get whatever I want, right? If I want clothing from different countries, I can go any direction, I get whatever I want. If I want Apple products, I can go in a couple of directions and there's an Apple store. When you're in like places like Africa, you don't have access to all that. Now, I know there's some people who feel they could live without that, like they could just rough it and stuff, but I'm not that person. I need to be near my bank. I'm right down the road from my investment bank, Charles Schwab. So if I need to drive down the bank, it's right there. It's 3 miles away. If I need to go to my bank is 2 miles away. And another one is 3 miles away. When you go to these foreign countries, it's like you don't have access to all of those goods and services. And as an American, I'm used to those. I demand having access to those. It's like even when I've gone to other states, like I've gone to like Colorado and Denver, it's like you still have access to all those goods and services. I couldn't see living in a country like Kenya. I couldn't see living in Central Africa at all. I just couldn't see it. I understand the cost of living is cheaper, yes, but that's also because you have fewer goods and services, and that's part of the reason why it's cheaper. So anyway, it says, he recently irked Kenyan ladies after claiming that passport bros are the prize, since they earn more than Kenyan women. Well, that's obvious. We earn more than women in general. I heard women always complaining, the men earn $1 and we only earn 75 cents. Yeah, well, that's because men do dangerous, difficult, and dirty jobs. And I've always brought up the exact same thing. I have never seen women building anything. I can go outside right now, go to a construction site. They're all men. I've seen them building skyscrapers, space stations, rockets for Elon Musk. They're building submarines. Yeah, there may be one or two women on that work detail, but I ain't never seen women building anything. I ain't never seen women building a bridge. Like when I go to Manhattan, I cross the Brooklyn Bridge, the Manhattan Bridge. There's another bridge that I cross. I forget which one. The Throgs Neck, whatever it is. George Washington Bridge. I ain't never seen women working there. When a woman is working on a construction detail, she's basically just holding a sign. I'm sorry, and that's the reality of it. I ain't never seen women building anything. You know what women are for? Women are there to birth children. The future males will be the builders of tomorrow. The future females will help the men of the future to have more children in order to build more stuff. But that's the reality. Now, granted, there are a lot of women who are getting involved in STEM because they're chasing a bag. But the bottom line is, I ain't never seen no work detail was all just women. I ain't never seen women laying plumbing. I ain't never seen women doing sewage. I ain't never seen women digging up the earth and laying shit into it, like electric wires and pipes. And you can call it sexist. I could care less because it's true. I ain't never seen it. Now, Grant, somewhere out there might be a work detail of women, but I guarantee it's only like one. And I guarantee there's a man on it somewhere, right there working, doing the dangerous, difficult, dirty job. So when you complain that men earn more, that's the reason. And I'm really disappointed in the media for never pointing this out. Or, you know, the right-wing media, every now and then they get the balls to say it aloud. But this needs to be a point that's hammered home. This needs to be something that, like, everybody understands and knows. Now, men know it in their heart, but some of them are afraid to say it. I'm not afraid to say it. I care less. So anyway, a TikToker, it's always goddamn TikTok. And, you know, I thought by now my government would have banned this shit. The only reason, understand something, the only reason they're trying to ban it now is because TikTok threatens the Israeli public relation campaign. See, the Israelis used to make it so that they had complete control over everything that was said and shown on the internet. Now you got TikTok, a Chinese-owned company, undermining what gets said and what gets shown on the internet. If you really think about it, Zuckerberg controls Facebook. He controls Instagram. So you're not going to see what they don't want you to see on Facebook or Instagram. Then you got Elon Musk, who's got X. As long as you don't talk about him, you're fine. You can put whatever you want on there. X is like a gore porn site at this point, and I appreciate it for that because I can go on there, I can say whatever I want. I don't get banned. But when you're dealing with Zuckerberg and you're dealing with Google, no. They control everything to the point where when you post anything, you get like blocked or banned like immediately. TikTok being Chinese run, and by the way, we don't get the version of TikTok that they get. The Chinese, if you go over to China, you live in China, because I used to live in China as a student, they make it so that you see nothing but education on television. None of this stupid nonsense, lasciviousness, none of that. Over there, when you watch TikTok, it's educational. Over here, when you watch TikTok, it turns you into an idiot. It turns you stupid. It's just girls dancing. Yeah, it's stupid and lascivious. Chinese, they don't play that shit over there. The Chinese implemented numerous things to make sure that their kids don't turn out to be morons. They took off effeminate males from television, for one. They turn off the internet at certain times of the day to make it so you can't play video games all weekend long. Because you know how the kids here are. Soon as Grand Theft Auto 6 comes out, these kids are going to disappear off the streets. The men, too. Some of the men are going to disappear from work. I guarantee you'll hear no less than 3 stories. Men getting fired because they sitting at home playing Grand Theft Auto. And these are men, by the way. So Chinese don't play that. And I have to respect them for that because they're not going to let their kids turn into idiots. They're not going to let that happen. But anyway, they'll give us the bad version of TikTok and we'll turn into stupid morons. But I guess that's part of psychological warfare, I suppose. So anyway, I guess this is the guy right here. Brian Odira. Pictured is a Black American who moved to Kenya in 2023. I'm guessing Brian... I don't know if he's retired or whatever. I'm sure he'll tell his story. But the bottom line is, yeah, living in Africa is cheaper. Living in Southeast Asia is cheaper. Living in South America is cheaper. If you're fortunate enough to have a digital job, like where you can work on a computer and you can move anywhere you want in the world, if you're fortunate enough to do that, yes, it's absolutely cheaper. You could take your $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 salary. You go to a place where it only costs you like maybe $1,000 a month to live, like where the average person is living on like $2 or $3 a day. You go there, man, you live like a king, and it's absolutely true. I've been to the Philippines, I've been to Thailand, I've been to Bali. The amount of money that we make, we go over there, we're living top flight. And I totally understand why somebody would want to move there. I just couldn't deal without the goods and services. Okay, so it says, what does the term passport bros mean? First of all, passport bros are black males who are moving abroad to other countries for relationships, marriage, and also, in this case, to live abroad. I don't like, there's been people who jump on my channel and they post comments. Oh, well, I'm a white passport bro. As soon as I see that shit, you get deleted. Okay. And if you know who you are, you know who you are. Cause I already deleted your comment. The term passport bros applies to black males. Passport Joes, they called white men Joes over there. So no, you're a passport Joe. We're passport bros. The whole reason why this term came up in the first place is because of TikTok. You had black women insulting black men. And because we're brothers, that's why, you use the term bro, because we're black brothers and stuff. So if you don't have a problem with that, I care less. And I'm just going to say what I'm saying. And that's it. Keep in mind, you're on my channel. I'm not on yours. So it is what it is. And here I'm God. Okay. It's just that simple. So anyway, it says, these are black males that are going abroad for relationships with women. It says, if you are unfamiliar with the term, let us catch you up. It says they are black men looking for foreign women who they believe come from more conservative backgrounds and consequently place more importance on family and loyalty. We're gonna get to that in a minute because the other story is from the Philippines. We're gonna get to that in a minute about family and loyalty. Odira is among the passport bros who have gone viral on social media, eliciting reactions from ladies. In a recent clip, he claimed that Kenyan women are envious of passport bros since they earn more. First of all, if you're an American, period, the entire world envies you. Understand that. You know how Mitt Romney wrote that book about American exceptionalism, no apologies? The reality is America is the envy of the world. The entire world either envies us, is jealous of us, or hates us. We are the only country in the entire world that ever dropped a nuclear bomb on another country. We invented the nuclear bomb in the Trinity Project. I love that movie, Oppenheimer. I've watched it about 12 times by now. We invented the nuclear weapons. There are a couple other countries that have nuclear weapons, but we're the only one that's actually used one, for one. Number two, we've got the largest Air Force. We've got the most advanced Air Force. We've got the most advanced Navy. We've got the most advanced armed forces. That's just the truth. Now, granted, all we have really to offer is militarism, but the problem is a lot of people tend to respect you when you have the ability to just blow up their country. Their entire country can disappear in a flash of light. And they have no choice but to respect you because it's like you've got God living next door and he can literally throw a lightning bolt and blow your whole country up. So yes, we are envied by the rest of the world. Not only that, America formed ties with the Saudis. We basically control the oil. If they start any shit whatsoever, there's going to be a war in the Middle East. If they start any problems whatsoever. Now, I know they look rich. They've got their turbans. They got their gold turbans on. They got their Bugatti Chiron in the backyard. They've got their boats. They got their yachts. But if they start any problems whatsoever, there's going to be a war and they're going to end up hanged like Saddam Hussein. And they know it. We're envied by the rest of the world. That's the truth. So, yes, if you're an American, the rest of the world looks at you with a level of respect. It doesn't matter what color you are. When I go on these business class flights, I go on these fabulous flights all over the world, right? I'm standing there in line in these foreign countries. Even when I was in Maldives, I was in Seychelles. I'm standing there online. I got all these foreign European people on the line. They're on the poor people line. They're on the economy line. Their kids are looking up at me and they're like, wow, that's an American right there. Holy shit. Those guys are big. Those guys are huge. Those Americans, they're so powerful. If you're an American, everybody has no choice but to respect you. It's like if aliens come to this planet, they're coming here. They're not going to Russia. They're not going to Moldova. They're not going to Ukraine. They're not going to Australia. They're not going to Britain. They're not going to any of those places. They're coming to New York, okay? And that's a fact. That's a fact. They know, they've been watching our radio waves. They respect us. They know they're going to come here. They want to meet Trump. They know he's the leader of the world. They know it. The aliens know it. If they come here, they're coming here. They're not going to Beirut. They're not going to Israel. They're not going to the Wailing Wall. They're not going there. They're coming to New York City. Okay, that's a fact. So the bottom line is everybody envies us. I understand that, and I appreciate it. Thank you. We have the money. We're Americans. We have the money. Our money is worth more than pretty much everybody else's. Now, granted, in Europe, some of their, currencies are worth a little bit more. But the simple fact is those people don't get no respect because they come from countries that don't have armed forces. They don't have nuclear weapons. They come from countries where they don't have, powerful troop deployment. So the British are over there. The British got the pound, but nobody really respects them. Nobody really respects them. I'm sorry. America, we have F-22 fighters and they have bomb bays, and each fighter can hold 6 nuclear bombs. So you have no choice but to respect us. You just don't. You don't. And if you disrespect, your country ends up disappearing in a flash of light. That's how it works. Sorry. So anyway, where are we? It says, so listen up. Let me put you on game real quick. I see some ladies out here talking recklessly about passport bros. Be careful. Those ain't facts. Those are lies. Let's talk numbers. The average Kenyan woman is out here making $200 a month. And that's KSH $25,950 or 950 rupees or whatever the hell it is. Meanwhile, anywhere between 648,750 to 15,000 KSH to 1,946 a month consistently. Okay, so it says deep down you want what we have. Yeah, of course they want what we have. They want that money. They want these iPhones. They want access to Gucci bags and Coach and Prada and Femi, and they ain't gonna get it. So the lifestyle, the stability, and the opportunity, we are better in every way, better educated, better looking, and better providers and better options. Okay, so we have better education, better looks, and better providers, better options. Okay, so let's understand something. As far as better education, I have to disagree with that. I think Americans are probably the dumbest people on earth. Honestly, I've been to these other countries. I've seen their education systems. I think Americans are dumb. I'm sorry. Well, most of us can't even look at a map and point out individual countries. I'm sorry, that's just what it is. They've done this test numerous times. On top of that, the average one of us is probably deep into debt for whatever education we do have. You got these women with these worthless liberal arts degrees, worthless PhD degrees. So, I'm afraid I'm just going to have to say it. I don't think Americans are highly educated. However, we got the money. We got the nuclear weapons. We've got the stuff that you want. And you ain't going to get it because we probably have sanctions on your country and you're not even allowed to trade. We don't even allow you to trade with other countries. Ask North Koreans how much they hate America. We don't even allow them to have cell phones from other countries. We've made it so that you think about that. America, a lot of what it was founded on had to do with laissez-faire and free trade and whatever. And now what we've done is we've ignored free trade. We've put sanctions on Cuba. We put sanctions on Venezuela. We put sanctions on North Korea. We've put sanctions on so many different countries. I can't even think to count them all. And the reality is we've made it so that other countries can't even trade with these countries. So we're starving these people to death, literally. That's the kind of power that Americans have. There's no other country in the world that, for the most part, does that right now. It's just us doing that, for the most part. Now, granted, there are a couple other countries that have sanctions on other countries, mostly because they're at war. But for the most part, we're the only ones who do stuff like that. We bully everybody, and we're like, yeah, you know what? You're not allowed to trade with him, and you're not allowed to trade with her, and that's how we do it. And that's how we keep these people in line. It is what it is. So anyway, let's go. It says a Kenyan TikToker, Sharina, corrected Odira. She didn't correct nothing. You can't correct an American because we got nukes, okay? You can't correct us. Okay, so she advised Odira and other black Americans claiming that Kenyan women are only attracted to the money they have. Okay, that's fine. We understand that. But guess what, Shayna, whatever the hell your name is, the simple fact is, when we pull out that shmoney, you going to dance. You're going to do the shmoney dance because you ain't got no choice. So it says, claiming that Kenyan women are only attracted to money. Yeah, okay, whatever. She explained that once their money ran out, Odira and his fellows would learn the hard way. Guess what, dear? Even though it's your fantasy that his money runs out, his money ain't going to run out because he's there. Either he's getting a paycheck, he's getting a pension, or he's getting money. Whatever he's getting it consistently. Nobody from America is moving to your country unless they know that there's a plan and the money's going to keep coming. So if he's over there, he's got his laptop, he's got his desktop, and he's over there doing computer work or whatever. He's there doing his computer work and he's getting paid, and that money going to keep coming. If that money stops coming, he'll just pack his shit up and he'll leave. And he'll leave you right there. And he will pack his stuff up. He'll be on the next plane out of there. And he'll be back to America. That's what it is. And, yeah, you can hate the player, but don't hate the game. It says, she explained that once their money ran out, Odira and his fellows will learn the hard way. Yeah, well, you tell me when his money runs out, because chances are it ain't going to happen. Let the money run out. Then you will learn in Kenya. Money speaks multiple languages. I know they are not telling you the truth. It is not that you have the most charming personality. It's not the fact that you have a nice accent. It's the dollar. When it runs out, you will find out the truth. So anyway. Oh, here she is right here. Here we go. Sharina, freaking TikTok.
And they're
God
making
damn
content around Kenyan women being soft, feminine, sweet, and they are being treated like kings compared to how they are being treated in America. And as a Kenyan woman, I'll be honest.
I got to say, she's got some good skin.
Is the dollar that you came with from US Hay that is giving you that level of treatment? Let the dollar run out, Troy. Let the money run out. That's when you'll find out that Kenyan women can also be rude and disrespectful. You want to play with Nairobi dating scenes with no finance, Troy?
You know, it's ironic. Despite the fact that she's trying to be a Keisha right now and she's trying to start problems, she's actually more adorable than any Keisha here actually is. So the thing about it is, whether the money runs out or not, she's still got that level of Kenyan niceness that is just appealing. It's hard for me to insult her because, you know, it's easy for me to insult Keisha or Shaniqua right here. They're probably in the store. They're probably in Sephora right now shoplifting. But it's hard to insult this chick because, you know, she's got that nice smile. Her teeth are pearly white. And, you know, her teeth are whiter than mine. I use Crest. I use that Crest Purple. I use that Crest Cinnamon. And her teeth are actually they're just so white. And she's just got nice skin and everything. She looks like she's glowing. It's hard for me to insult her, honestly.
When the dollar runs out, that's when you'll find out the truth. In Kenya, we say, mapenzi ni pesa. Pesa ikiisha.
Yeah, okay, whatever. I don't speak Lion King. Okay, so anyway, in other news, a viral Luo granny urged Kenyan men to work hard for their money. The granny opined that even if a man is physically fit and has no money, no woman would want to date them. That's not true at all. These chicks here, if you're physically fit and you have no money, these chicks here will drop like 2 or 3 babies with you and they'll be on welfare for the rest of their life. So it's not true. She told men lamenting that Nairobi women are expensive to date vienyejis from the village. I don't know what that means. And I really don't care. Okay, so that's the first story from Tuco. Like Tuco, like on Breaking Bad, Tuco. But yeah, that it is what it is. So this guy right here, Brian Odira, this guy is a passport bro. And frankly, once you do leave this country and you do go over to one of those other countries and you do find some level of peace in those other countries, I don't see a reason to necessarily be on TikTok shooting off your mouth because you already know that's going to attract problems from these strags. You already know it. So you might as well just not do that. You know, you shouldn't do that. But again, he's a passport bro and, you know, he's entitled to do what he wants to do. He's an American. He's entitled to do what he wants to do. And, Shani or whatever the hell her name is, she's just going to have to deal with it. Oh, once the money runs out, I'm sorry, you just going to have to deal with it, dear. So, that's her right there. What is Sharina 254. I think I'm going to go sign up to her TikTok. It looks like she's got like 54.4K or something. I don't know if they get paid on TikTok, because I have no idea why people feel it necessary to, flash their political opinions and everything everywhere and everything. But I don't know. Maybe TikTok pays, but it doesn't really look like it does. I'm not really sure. I don't know. But she looks cute. She's kind of cute, though. Because these dudes from here go over there and they'll wear her ass out. And, it's just because of the money. Wait till the money runs out. Ha, 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 ha. Ubucha, uja, bucha, bucha, bucha. It's like, yeah, okay. But, that's it. That's the first story right there. So this is, Passport Bro story 1 month ago. Nobody really talked about it, so I figured I would, Now here we get to the second story.
But if you're a man, single, and over 30, you are called 钻石王老五, which means a diamond bachelor in Mandarin. In Cantonese, you're called 笋盘, which means quality real estate.
Never in a million years teach my girls that they have to grow up to be reliant on a man, as you can well imagine. I would never teach my son that he should be attracted.
But Tracy, you're the same one. You're the same one who bragged that she's so strong and so tough and doesn't need a man's money. Yet you're taking alimony.
I have 3 children.
Okay, Mark.
You know what?
So, but you don't need a man's money.
All right, well, that's it.
So, what is your plan?
My plan for
Your plan for dating?
like it's complicated,
It's
right?
complicated.
Right? So there's an idea where I don't just go home. I just stay here somehow.
Do you have a plan to stay here?
I could see myself living here.
Why?
What do you mean why? Part of planning our future together, right? I mean, the cost of living is lower.
Do you want to stay here for good?
All right, so this story right here is fresh to world star hip hop, right? I ended up having to screen capture the video. And then after I screen captured the video, I basically have to do a voiceover because obviously you can't play their content without somebody from there trying to come after you. Now, I'm only going to talk about it real quick. You can see the video yourself, and I'll try to leave the link so you can see the video yourself. I had a problem with their webpage. It really is terrible, and it's infected with, viruses. The mere fact that I can get a screen pause on iPhone and the thing says, yeah, your phone's infected with viruses tells me that they're not doing a good enough job on their page with cybersecurity. It also jumps around a lot because they have, too many ads. So I'm not very happy using WorldStar's their servers or whatever, but the bottom line is that's what happened, and that's the reason why I had to do this the way I did it. So I saved the entire video, and I'm only going to look at little parts of it. So anyway, you got this 59-year-old white guy, and they labeled him a passport bro. Okay, he's not a passport bro. He's not black. He's a passport Joe. That's number one. But they don't see the difference, so they just label everybody the same thing because of the hashtag. They want to try to take advantage of a trending hashtag. That's what it comes down to. So anyway, this guy is 59 or 58 or something like that. And he must have met this Filipina, I would say probably 4 to 5 years ago. So he met this Filipina, and this chick was 28 right now. So that means that he probably met her when she was 25 or 26. So I would say about a good 5 years ago, give or take. I'm not sure of the timeline. But they have 2 kids. The kids look like, the 2 daughters, they look like they're either 3 years old, 4 years old, or 5 years old, right? So anyway, WorldStar has this guy on there. Yeah, passport bros, Filipino wife divorces him for Christmas or something like that. Now, here's the thing. First of all, whether you're a black passport bro or a white passport bro or Hispanic passport bro, one of the things you need to understand is these women have been so badly infected by social media like TikTok and Instagram and Facebook. They've been so badly infected by these things that at this point, you have to constantly be playing defense. First of all, as an American, when you go over to these other poor countries, you go to any of these poor countries and you're looking for wives, with the quote-unquote traditional family values, I think it's important to understand that the only reason why they're still traditional and the only reason why they're still into the family is because they ain't got no choice but to be. For the most part, they're living with their parents. If they're not living with their parents, they are beholden to their parents. Like, they're constantly caretakers of their parents. So when you talk about them being family oriented, again, they ain't got no choice but to be. The last thing they want is to get cut off by the family because they ain't got no other source of anything. They ain't got no source of income. They ain't got no source of well-being or anything like that. That's where you come in. As an American, your American dollar and your Americanness, we're going to just call it Americanness. What you're basically doing is you're playing arbitrage. You're taking your assets from one economy and you're going over to another economy where you can leverage your assets against theirs. So we're taking ourselves, our money, our savings, our finances, and we're going over there to get their women. That's what it comes down to. Now, granted, there are some of these dudes who already have wives, already have relationships, they're already settled, they have children, and they're just moving to these other countries because the cost of living is so much cheaper. Like, for example, I spend about $10,000 a month here in New York City, total. And meanwhile, if I were to go over to the Philippines, Thailand, Bali, or someplace like that, I would spend like maybe $2,000 or $3,000 a month. So that would be a savings of about $7,000 a month, right? So most of these dudes are trying to get over to these foreign countries because the cost of living is so much cheaper. That's the bottom line. The cost of living is cheaper. They have the ability to get younger women, younger wives. They have the ability to have families if they didn't have it here. The mere fact that this guy is 59 and the mere fact that this chick was like 28, which means that chances are he was 55 and she was 25 or somewhere around that. The mere fact that he did this just shows you right here. You got a white guy who's here in America. Things didn't work out for him. I don't know if he's short. I don't know if he's tall, whatever, because, I didn't see very many pictures about him. But the issue ultimately is he didn't want to marry an American white woman. He went over to the Southeast Asia. He married a Filipina. And he had his children with her. He got to know the family. In the video, he brings the father and the mother here, which is a huge no-no. You don't do that. You don't bring them here. Because everybody from around the world will tell you that if you have a foreign wife and she moves in with you here, she's going to try to move her family here. So that's something you don't do. That's number one. There's a huge age gap there. You have to understand, because of the social media, some of these women, young girls, and I shouldn't say young girls because they're above 20, but some of these young women, what they'll do is they get it in their mind that they can just drop a couple of babies and they can get access to you and they can get access to your finances and everything. They can come over here and then they can leave you high and dry. There is some truth to the belief that what you should do is you should stay in their country for a little while. If you're going to marry, if you're going to have children, you stay over there for a little while. You do not let her get her citizenship immediately because that's what she's trying to do. She's trying to get a citizenship. Some of these people who don't understand the process, they think, she's just going to get a green card and she's going to up and leave. This chick had 2 kids for this guy. And he got in with the family. Now, I don't know what the full relationship was, but of course he's always going to be an outsider because he's probably as old as her parents. And on top of that, they probably looking at him like he's nothing more than a paycheck too. So the reality is, I think he did things the wrong way. This is the reason why I don't lump all these other people in with the passport bros. I'm only talking about black men. The mentality of a black man when it comes to dating is totally different than a passport Joe. So a passport bro is different than a passport Joe mentally. Now, there's some people who might try to challenge me on that. I care less. You could go make a video on your channel. I don't care. Go kick rocks. I really don't care. So that's just that. So anyway, let's just look at a little bit of this.
Filipino wife to become fully Americanized, hate everything about me and what I provide, and decide to leave. Yeah, welcome to the shittiest post that I'm ever gonna make. There's a lot to it, and I'm not gonna go into it, okay? But suffice to say, after providing and going on the Disney World trip, which included the funeral for my mom, I got up to day 6, I think, on that, because it all broke down at Magic Kingdom.
All right, so unfortunately, he spent all that money. He took his daughters to Disney World, and which is another thing. As young as his daughters are, they don't understand Disney World. Like, when I was a kid, I grew up on Walt Disney cartoons, and I grew up with, like, Looney Tunes and stuff like that. They don't even show those shows anymore. Like, most of these kids, they don't know, they might know Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, but they don't know, like, the Disney cast of characters. They don't watch those shows because Disney isn't what it is now when I was a kid. Now, what Disney is a multi-billion-dollar corporation that buys up everything. They bought up Star Wars. I think they bought Marvel. And the kids know all about that stuff now. But my thing is, if you've got these really young kids, I wouldn't be taking them to Disney World. I'd take them kids to Sesame Place. I'd take them someplace inexpensive. Disney World is expensive. If this dude took them to Disney World, chances are he has a decent amount of money. His mom just passed. He probably got some money from that. And the reality is, this guy is balling, basically. He's an old 59-year-old white guy, and he's burning through money. He's balling. And Filipina decided that she was just going to up and leave. Now, I'm not sure what their situation is, how much money she might be able to snatch out of him, because he claimed that they're separated. He didn't claim they got a divorce just yet, but he claimed that they're separated. Some of these women think that they can just separate from you, they can go screw other guys, and that they still have access to your money. It's up to you to make sure that that doesn't happen, whether you get a foreign or domestic. Never give anybody access to your money, ever. Your money is your money. Your savings are your savings. Nobody gets access to that shit. You need to make sure that you either have a licensed lawyer or a planner or somebody who help you find financial plan or whatever it is. Nobody should have access to your money. If she wants to leave, okay, yeah, it's a free world. Go leave, and I'll just go get me another one of you. And that's how it's supposed to be. You never give anybody that kind of access to your money. Now, had he stayed in her country, he'd still be, he'd pay his child support or whatever. In fact, he could give more child support than any of those men over there could, because obviously we have all the money. The reality is, most of those dudes over there, they're not even sticking with these women. They're doing their own level of pump and dump. In Philippines, they call it pina angkan. It's called shoot and scoot. A lot of these dudes get these women pregnant and they just leave. That's why you have a problem over there right now with single moms. Teenage single moms? They have a huge problem. Like, if you go on YouTube right now, you can type Baby Factory Philippines, shit comes right up, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So the bottom line is, American men, like this white guy here, we're willing to actually get married. A lot of those dudes over there, they're not marrying these women. If you go to most of these countries, there's a growing number of single women who the marriage is not in the cards. Only American men are dumb enough to go and marry these women. Because at this point, marriage is an insurance policy on a woman's rapidly depreciating market value. Some men would argue there's no point in me getting married. It's like, why buy the cow when I can get the milk for free? There's some men who would argue it's like, there's no point in me getting married because it doesn't mean that I have exclusive access to her and the cat. There's no point in me getting married because she could just cheat on me, and then she could try to take half my shit if I raise my voice to her. And I totally understand those arguments, but this guy did it wrong, and now he's going to pay the price for it. And again, he's not a passport bro, he's a passport Joe. I'm not lumping him in with us. Sorry.
Fucking ironic. And I didn't post anything after that because when we got back from Orlando to St. Simons, Georgia, I was greeted with the announcement from Jayanne that she wanted a separation.
Now, separation ain't the same thing as divorce. She's saying that she wants a separation. My thing is, the only separation you get is you can pack up your shit and all the clothes on your back and you can leave. One of the other things you got to be careful of is you make sure that your children have, like, if you have a foreign wife, now, because granted, the divorce fights for children, that's something that most American men are used to here when they're just dealing with these domestic strags here. You got to make sure that your kids are American citizens and that they got their passports and that they're American. That's number one. If she came here, she's still one of them. She's a Filipino or whatever she is, wherever she came from. If she comes here to be with you, you need to make sure your kids can't be forcibly taken back with her. So there ain't no such thing as you kidnapping the kids and you taking the kids back with you. It's like, listen, if you want a separation, you can pack your shit and get the fuck out. I'll get somebody else. But the kids are staying here. So this whole thing about a separation, because some of these women think that shit is cute, like where they could just get a separation. No. The word is divorce. If you're not here and you're not providing for me in the same way I provide for you, then you might as well get the hell on. I already got these kids. That's what I wanted. I got these kids. You can get on because I can get somebody else because I'm the one with the money. I'm the American here. So the bottom line is you need to make sure your kids are anchored as American citizens. And from what I know, they have birthright citizenship through the father. Now, as far as her, she ain't taking them kids out the country because she wouldn't have the ability to do that if she doesn't have full citizenship. She wouldn't have the ability to simply take those kids and fly them to her country, not unless you signed off on it. You got to make sure you protect your money, and you got to make sure that you protect your kids. That's the bottom line. That's why, in my opinion, you're probably better off living in her country. And the reason why is because if you stay in her country, you live in her country, you can take care of your kids grow up on their education system instead of turning into idiots like the ones here, because they're going to be watching TikTok all goddamn day, turning stupid. So you stay in her country, your kids will learn good math skills and they'll learn English skills over there. And besides, you're an English speaker, so you'll reinforce that when they come home. But I personally think that you should not be bringing anybody back here. Because first of all, America is a toxic environment. That's number one. America is a toxic environment. And then you've got the internet, which has allowed the toxicity of America to spread to these foreign countries, right? Now, China was smart enough to block that stuff out. Like, China literally has a switch where they switch that shit off and it says no more Google. China's got their own search engines. They got their own stuff because they refuse to let their people turn into idiots. American toxicity spreads through social media. That's why you can have this Kenyan woman talking smack. Meanwhile, if it wasn't for that TikTok and it wasn't for her having access to American quiches and shaniquas, she wouldn't even dare raise her. In fact, she's supposed to be milking a goat right now. So she wouldn't even have the time to be on the goddamn internet talking smack. But she does because of American toxicity spread through the internet. So you got to be very, very careful of that. Let's see what this is.
And then I discovered through text that she had been discussing this with her family. And
so her family painted you as a paycheck, a payday. And her family was using her to get to your assets and your wealth. That's basically what it sounds like to me. So you played yourself, Passport Joe.
Making plans to also take the children. So,
see, that whole thing about making plans to take the children, there's no way in hell. There's no way in hell. That is not happening. Like, you can pack your shit, you can leave, and I'll keep the kids right here. And when you're ready to come back, if I decide to let you come back, you get to come back. But other than that, nah. You got to be very, very careful. Like, if you meet any of these foreign women, it doesn't matter where they're from, Brazil, Colombia, whatever it is. And the whole thought or idea of divorce is anywhere on their mind, like if they start asking questions about, oh, what about if we divorce? What would happen? That's one that you need to be very, very careful of, because some of them, they think this shit is cute where they plan to leave and they plan to take your money and they plan to take the kids. That's led to a number of deletions. And that's the term they use so that they don't get flagged. That's led to a number of deletions. I'll just say it just like that. You got to make sure that you plan well ahead of that. So even if they are planning to do it, they're never able to implement the plan because you're so far ahead of them. So, and I'm not just talking about foreigners, because chances are the foreigners will give you a better deal than these domestic strags will. So I'm just saying, your children, you need to make sure that your children are stable. Your children are American citizens, because she cannot get citizenship through the kids. She can only basically get it through you. Your kids are citizens by blood for the most part. So you just need to be very, very, very careful of that. Because here, this guy basically, he got scammed by a scammer, and she played the long game. Like, she dropped 2 babies. Now keep in mind, she would have dropped them babies anyway. She would have dropped them babies with one of her own men. She would have dropped them babies with some other foreign guy. You got scammed by a scammer, and she dropped 2 babies for you, and she had you going for the long game. You thought that you were gonna, and it's sad because when you watch the video and you see him with his kids, it's like he looked like he wanted to have a family. He looked like he wanted to be a caring father and everything, only to get scammed by this scammer. It's a damn shame. But you got to plan way ahead of these people. You got to plan in a way where they never, ever. My grandparents and old Southerners, they always had a saying. They said, never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. Now, you think about that. That's some fucking schizophrenic shit. You never let your left hand know what your right hand is doing. So the bottom line is, you don't let nobody have access to your shit. Like, even me. My houses are in my name. Ain't nobody else's name on that shit. My cars are in my name. Ain't nobody else's name on that shit. My pension, all that stuff, my name. If something happened to me right now, I could die right now and croak. That money is only going to who I claim to be a beneficiary. And I ain't even going to say who it is, because this way nobody gets any ideas. But the bottom line is, nobody's got access to any of my shit but me. Like, I hear about these dudes, like, I have stupid fucking friends who let their dumbass girlfriends and wives, if you want to call them wives, like their baby mamas, have access to their phones, and they got their password, they got access to, and I'm like, are you stupid? It's like, how stupid are you? Like, you don't do that. You don't let her have access to anything. I've seen these chicks, oh, I love you 1 minute, next minute she's withdrawing all the shit out of your bank account. Because this whole thing about having joint bank accounts and everything, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But the thing about it is, if something goes down between you and her, she's going to empty that bank account out almost immediately. And you should have seen enough of these domestic strags do that for you to know that. You don't give nobody no access like that. You don't give nobody no access. When I die, I want my computer and my cell phone tossed in the casket with me. It's like whether I get cremated or whether I get buried, I want my cell phone in that casket with me. I don't want you having access to shit at all. Like, if you try to open my eyes up and use that FaceTime, that shit's not going to work. If you try to use Face Unlock, it's not going to work. I don't want you having access to nothing. I want my hard drives, all that shit thrown in my coffin with me. I want all that shit burned. All of it. You know, I mean, you don't give nobody access like that. What are you, kid? It's like, people are dumb. That's why I don't let these guys be called passport bros. These guys are idiots.
That's heavy, right?
Yeah, it is heavy,
That's
stupid.
nuke. And I'm going to go into my bunker. So I came downstairs in my nice 4-story mansion and just stayed by myself through Christmas Eve and through Christmas Day.
So the dude spent Christmas Eve and Christmas Day all by himself. because this chick decides to up and leave him for now, and she's so cold that she does it for Christmas. Ain't that damn shame? That's damn shame. That's damn shame.
And I missed Christmas with my children.
Well, that was your fault. You didn't plan ahead. I'm sorry, that was your fault. If it was me, them kids wouldn't be on no plane going nowhere unless I'm on that plane going right with them, because I would have to be there for them to be there. Some of these dudes, they give these chicks so much access. It's like these dudes are dumb. And I understand that he's older and he thought that he was dealing with a real one. But the thing about it is, you have no idea how much damage social media has done to relationships. I do. But you don't know.
My in-laws, my mother and my father-in-law, and Jayanne, they proceeded to open the presents without me.
So they opened up the presents without your ass. So they basically say, yeah, we're done with that gringo. We're done with the white boy. We're done with Mike Guilo. We're done with him. And you know it's so funny. There's a lot of these women on TikTok, these Keishas and Shaniquas, that be trying to make fun of the passport bros. They're trying to say that this is a common occurrence. The reality is, this is not a common occurrence. This does not happen as much as you think it does. The problem is that when it does happen, it gets broadcast like this on these very high-profile websites like World Star Hip Hop. Like, for instance, this is a white guy. What the hell are you doing going on World Star Hip Hop in order to broadcast your problems? Like, for most of these men who've married foreign women, a lot of them, even the wealthy ones, haven't had this problem. Now, some of these dudes, they go after these young chicks, and these young chicks think that he's a lottery ticket. And in her mind, from the very beginning, she's playing the long game. The thing about it is, yeah, all of them could be playing the long game, but you have to play it longer than she can play it. My thing is, again, I wouldn't have given her no goddamn citizenship, none of that shit. I would have stayed right in her country. I'd have dropped about 3 or 4 kids out of her. And by the time I was finished with her, if she wants to leave, go ahead and leave. I'll just get another one. But the bottom line is, these kids are here, and these are my kids. Now, child support in the Philippines, that's not expensive at all. So, that's relatively cheap. But the thing about it is, considering how bad relationships have gotten, especially because of social media, you got to plan ahead. A lot of these dudes, these passport Joes, they don't plan ahead too well. Like, they think it's as easy as just picking one of these chicks up and that's it. Like, some of these dudes are some of these dudes are cleanup bros. Like, there's this dude who has a channel. It's called All About Filipino Relationships. And he's on YouTube. And he's an Australian guy. I can't stand the dude. And I haven't listened to his channel in a long time, but he married one of these chicks, and she already had a kid from a previous relationship. Dude, you're nothing more than a walking lottery ticket. That's all you are to her. You're a walking lottery ticket. You're food and sustenance for her and her kid. That ain't your kid. You ain't got no rights to that kid. That's not your kid. But for a dude like this who actually had 2 kids with her, and those are his kids, no, you have to treat it like you don't have no leverage whatsoever. You have 2 choices. You can either stay with me or you can leave, but these kids are staying here. And that's assuming that you want to be a father and you want to have your kids and everything, and you want to have them in your life, because some of these dudes don't care. Some of these dudes will be like, okay, well, you could go and you could take the kids. They just don't care. Chances are most of them, they're not, most real men ain't going to do that. But if they have to fight a woman in a court system, you never know which way that's going to go. That's why I say a lot of these situations end in deletions. And, that's the dark side of the passport journey. But it is what it is.
Presents all of which I bought.
Look at this guy. He's got dead eyes and shit.
The separation is a separation. I'm lucky enough to have a big house, and the logistics of it can...
Yeah, you're lucky enough to have a big house, and chances are that house is in your name. My thing is, if she's talking this separation bullshit, she wouldn't be in it. She'll be out there on the corner getting free city Wi-Fi on the corner camped out before she'd be up in my house and not in my bed. It's just that simple. I could care less how sexist it sounds. If you think that you're just going to leave and you're going to take what's mine and leave, you're out of your mind. It's not going to happen. And you need to make sure that the laws that you're a part of make it so that that can't happen. In some countries, they don't have sophisticated laws like they've got here where men get absolutely screwed in marriages and divorces. No. In those countries, shit, they barely know who the people are because their national identity systems suck. So no. Separation, okay, listen, it's a free world. You take your shit and get the fuck out. That's how it works. And that's it. And in your absence, understand this, in your absence, it could probably be one of your best friends who's in my DMs, and I'll have her right up in here tonight, sleeping, keeping me company. That's how you got to do it. You got to, this is arbitrage, and you have to maintain leverage. You got to be like a Ferengi. You got to be like Quark.
Met right away, but I spent Christmas utterly by myself.
That's your fault.
And it's coming up on New Year's Eve.
Uh-oh.
And I'm still alone.
Don't get suicidal.
Because there's no communication from her. Why? Because she's communicating with her parents. She has the total backing and validation of her parents.
The parents, if you're not in good with the parents, that can be a problem. Now, granted, her parents are looking at this dude like he's nothing more than a walking lottery ticket, right? Chances are he's as old as they are, or he's older than they are. And that, the crazy thing about the Philippines is basically a matriarchy. And the reason why it's a matriarchy is because the vast majority of the households are headed by single moms. The fathers almost have damn near no say over what goes on with the women. The women down there are procreating and they fucking. And the men almost have no say of it. You've probably heard a lot of these horror stories about dudes who go and meet women down there, and then they find out the chick is married, and sometimes the husband knows that she's screwing the foreign guy. Sometimes he doesn't know that she's screwing the foreign guy. So the reality is, it's like they have no control over it. Like that, they got a matriarchy going on down there. They got all these teen pregnancies. They got all these single moms. And that's part of the reason why they have perpetual poverty. That's pretty much why. Like the women, just like in the story about Kenya, the women are making like $200 a month. If they're lucky, they're making $400 a month. The average Filipino makes less than $10,000 a year. Now, you'd think that they would recognize, they'd be like, okay, well, we've got all these foreign guys who are interested in coming here and meeting us, and they want to actually be husbands. You'd think that they'd say, you know what? Let's take advantage of that. Let's get married. Let's stay married. Let's have children. And we can slowly extend that wealth to our families, because that a lot of the wealth that is generated in the Philippines is built on remittance. That's the word, remittance. So what you get, it just like during COVID, you get a lot of these Filipinas who are waiting next to Western Union, and they waiting for some money to come in from either their families or their boyfriends or their husbands or whatever. A lot of the wealth there is built on remittance. This guy didn't play the game right because he's a passport Joe. He's not a passport bro. He screwed up. I'm sorry. You should have known better.
Plus TikTok.
Yep. There you go. You see right there. He said TikTok and her parents. TikTok and her parents. Now, them Chinese, I got to give the Chinese. Chinese ain't going to let TikTok. They only give themselves the good version of TikTok. They give Americans the stupid version of TikTok. And they make us stupid. When I was a kid, my grandparents, sometimes they would watch me playing Game Boy and Game Gear. And one of the things that they said, they like, and I'll never forget this, because my grandma was watching me play Game Gear, right? And, you had the color screen and all that. Basically, Game Gear was the iPhone of its day. And one thing they said, yeah, these Japanese video games are going to make these kids stupid, but at least the music sounds good. Yeah, that's what she said. And the thing about it is, these other countries, for the most part, they're looking out for their people. They give Americans the worst of the worst. They gave us lead in our children's toys, plastic in our dog food. They give us the worst of the worst, and we're stupid enough to allow our corporations to force us to accept it. It is what it is. I've traveled around enough where I'm just, at this point, I'm very, very jaded, and I'm very, very negative towards what I see going on. I wish America was smarter. That's why I appreciate, and truth be told, some people, oh, why do you like Trump so much? I like authoritarianism. I do. I like authoritarianism. I like the idea of a benevolent dictator. Now, granted, the American Constitution is never going to actually allow us to have a dictator because there's too many checks and balances. But I like the idea of somebody who thinks in that manner. It's like, yeah, if this is bad for the people, I'm going to do something about it. Like, for example, if I was president and I say, hey, Flint, Michigan's got lead in their fucking pipes. We're going to go and we're going to pull up all those fucking pipes. We're not going to send Ukraine or Israel another fucking dime, but we're going to go and we're going to pull up all those pipes and we're going to get that lead out of their water. Now, there's a lot of people who would start some shit with me and be like, oh, but you can't do that. Fuck you. Yes, I can. And if you get in my way, you're going to get hanged. That's how I do it. A benevolent dictator looks out for their people. That's what that's just where I am. So you could be upset with it. I could care less. But the bottom line is, as far as I'm concerned, if you're looking out for your people and you're doing the best for them, whether they like it or not, just like Trump said, he's like, yeah, we're going to protect women whether they like it or not. It is what it is. It is what it is. Because the moment that he swears in, his access to the armed forces, the F-22s, the nuclear weapons, he's got it. And whether you like it or not. So that's just what it is. It's a benevolent dictator. You know, you hope that he does the right thing. You hope that whatever he does, it's going to help us in the future at least a little bit. But sometimes that's just what you need. How did I get to that from this guy? I can't remember, but whatever. Let's keep going.
All external sources of validation, and it's...
So basically, he's talking about external sources of validation. He's basically saying that these women are spending all their time with their cell phone on fucking selfie mode. They're in the bathroom, in the mirror, they're shit in the toilet, and they're taking selfies. They don't even realize there's shit in the toilet. And this is their self-validation mechanism. I agree with them on that. TikTok and social media have basically ruined an entire generation of women. I think by now we all understand that. I think we accept that. My recommendation is it's hard to avoid, and the reason why it's hard to avoid is because even if you go to the poorest possible country in the world, and you get you a chick from one of the poorest countries in the world, the first thing she's going to ask you for as a gift is goddamn cell phone. That's the first thing. She's going to ask you for an iPhone. Nobody wants them fucking Android phones. Nobody wants them piece of garbage Galaxy phones. I have an uncle who just got one of these Galaxy A15s. Now, mind you, that phone was given to him free by, what was it, T-Mobile or whatever. He had a phone. He had like one of them Galaxy A020s, but the problem is he could barely use it because the phone got overtaken by malware. So he had to call them up and ask them for a new phone. And they was like, okay, well, yeah, you're definitely in for a new phone because your phone is so old. And my uncle, he's technologically illiterate. He doesn't know how to use a computer. He could barely use his television, his smart TV. So he asked him for one of these garbage-ass Galaxy phones, A15, something around that, to replace an A02. And I set it up for him. It's a piece of garbage. I hated using it. iPhone, I love because it has the best software, it has the best firmware, it has the best hardware. People can say, oh, yeah, well, iPhone uses Samsung parts. It's like, I don't care about any of that. I don't care about any of that. The simple fact is I love iOS. iOS belongs to them. It had nothing to do with Samsung. I don't care about the camera. I don't care about the CPU. I don't care about none of that shit. Bottom line is I love iPhone. I love the way it works. I'm making this video on iPhone right now. If you get one of these poor foreign chicks, the first thing she's going to do is ask you for an iPhone, and it'll be a birthday or Christmas or whatever, and you're pretty much going to have to buy it. It is what it is. But once she gets on that, now she's got access to TikTok. Now she's got access to the internet. Now she's going to start acting a fool. So the bottom line is you have to be sure that before she starts acting a fool, that you've already secured whatever it is you want to secure out of her. Because after she starts acting a fool, you have no idea what direction that's going to go. Hopefully you're in a country and you're living with her in a country where they don't tolerate that shit, so they themselves will keep their foots on her neck. You don't have to worry about it. But that's what she's going to ask for. She's going to ask for an iPhone, and you're going to have no choice but to buy it. I want iPhone 16. iPhone 16 for my birthday. And then now you got to spend $1,000 or whatever it is, or $900 or whatever it is to buy this iPhone so she can act a fool. And first thing she's going to do is download fucking TikTok. Next thing you know, every time you see her, oh, yes, I want to make video. I want to make video. And next thing you know, you're going to come in the kitchen. She's going to be fucking dancing, shaking her ass on fucking TikTok. You see, this is like the rabbit hole. And once you go down that rabbit hole, you're screwed. Okay, I'm tired of this guy, this Passport Joe. So what we're going to do is we're going to skip to the part where it shows his family. And this is his family right here. Look at this.
Here at the airport, Mama and Papa.
She doesn't, look at her. She doesn't look too interested. Now, she just dropped 2 gorgeous daughters, very good-looking daughters, and she's got this idiot wasting his money on her, and all the while, she's planning to divorce his ass. And she doesn't look like she's too into it. She looks like she basically said, I saved myself for this foreign guy, and now I'm going to take him for everything he's worth.
40 minutes ago, they have to go through customs, of course. So we're outside of customs, Terminal 2, waiting for their Lola and Lolo.
Did you really name your kids Lola and Lolo? Did you? Now, I got to say, look at this. She's got the long head of hair. So the problem is you brought a 28-year-old Filipina. Now, you did drop 2 babies out of her. But you brought a 28-year-old Filipina to the States, and she got the long, silky hair. And the guys here, I feel bad. I feel so bad for American men. American men, they have nothing to choose from but these women with wigs. The women have fake hair that's not real hair. It's like they don't even have real hair. It's like it's a damn shame. Not only that, poor women don't have access to makeup because they can't afford it. So here you got a decent woman. She got decent skin. Her skin hasn't been ruined by all this shit that they be putting on their skin. She got real hair. She doesn't have any fake stuff. She doesn't have any BBLs. She doesn't have any fake stuff, implants, none of that. I feel so sorry for American men. American men have no choice at this point but to either accept being a stepdad, or they can do the smart thing. They can get their passport. But even when you get your passport, this Passport Joe has showed you that just because you get your passport doesn't mean everything is going to be perfect. It's like you still have to work very hard at securing a relationship and leveraging your assets. You really do. It sucks.
Oh.
Look at this.
All right, stay tuned. Next.
So this guy right here, he thinks he's living the dream. The guy's got the Duke Nukem glasses on. He thinks he's living the dream. He got Lolo and Lola. He's got his 2 daughters. All the while, this chick is right there. Now, you'd think that she'd be thankful that she has a husband who looks like he seems to want to be a decent father. And she's plotting. Now, do you understand this? You're being a decent father. You're being a decent provider. You're taking these kids to Disney World. I would never take them to Disney World. They would go to, like, Chuck E. Cheese. I'd pay about, $50 to go to Chuck E. Cheese instead of $5,000 or $6,000 to go to Disney World. I'd take them to Sesame Place. This guy is a provider. He's trying to be a good father. And all the while, your own wife is plotting behind your back. Do you see what I'm talking about? People could call me sexist. They could call me racist. They call me I could care less what you think. I really don't care. But the bottom line is I'm bringing it to you real. This guy is doing his best. He's trying to be a good father. And this bitch is plotting behind his back. Just think about that.
Next vlog, you'll get to meet Mom and Dad. You excited?
You see? She's got the iPhone, doing her selfies on TikTok the whole time, plotting behind this guy's back. Plotting. So they got Lola and Lolo, and they're doing great. And they have no idea that their own mom is plotting behind their back. I think a little bit further, you get to the parents, I think. The parent. Oh, here we go. These are the co-conspirators. Co-conspirators. Let me tell you something. If that was me, and they're just walking off without him. Look at that. Walking off without him. Let me tell you something. A foreign chick with her parents, let me tell you something. They got but one time to try to do that bullshit where they walk off without me. It's like, hey, excuse me. You're in my country, lady. It's like they got but one time to try to do that bullshit. Walk off without you. Like oh yeah, well, we got everything we need. Let's go. No, excuse me? Excuse me? I'd put your asses right back on that fucking plane. I'd put you in coach. I'd put you in the baggage compartment and fly your ass right back where you came from. You got but one time to try that bullshit with me. This Passport Joe he don't understand. He don't understand, man. He don't get it.
He got laid. We're gonna head to the van and go get some lunch.
So the co-conspirators finally landed, and you look at that. They got their backs turned to this guy, not even including him with them. And they're on their way. The co-conspirators. I would never, ever. I have family members that married foreign wives. And, they got the same warnings. Oh, yeah, she's going to move her parents into your house. And he's like, no, she's not. And sure enough, it never happened. None of her parents ever moved here because her parents had their own thing going on down in their country. But this is inexcusable. This is absolutely, they got their back to you, Passport Joe, got their back to you, and they just on their way, and they're just leaving you. Let somebody try that shit to me. You are dead to me. I'm done with you. Let somebody try that to me. You got but one time. Body language says a lot. It really does. But they already showed him. They showed him, oh, yes, why don't you divorce him? Yeah, why don't you separate from him? And we come and we stay, take care of children. Nope. It's funny because there's this clip that I'm also intersplicing in this video where this white guy goes over to the Philippines. Now, this guy, he actually, unlike, because some of these women on TikTok be making fun of you. They be like, yeah, you're going to get a lady boy, right? Now, this guy actually got a lady boy, and he's up there talking to the parents about his plans, claiming that here in America, he ain't got no money and he's homeless, and he wants to live there with the lady boy in that country, right? And after you see something like this, you're like, you know what? Maybe that guy has a point. I'm not talking about being with the lady boy. I'm just saying, you stay there in that country, and this way they ain't got no. And her parents were like, oh, no, you should bring her here. And he's like, no, I'm homeless in America. I'm staying here with you. And the funny thing is, it's like, you got to think about it. You know what? Maybe this guy had a point. But that's how you got to do it. You got to leverage your assets. Otherwise, you're going to end up like this turkey jerk. So for all y'all who don't understand why, like, I don't lump Passport Joes in with Passport Bros, it's exactly this mentality. Some of y'all be going to these foreign countries, y'all be committing crimes and shit. I'm not including you at all. I'm not including you. I'm not lumping you in. As far as I'm concerned, everything the Passport Bros does is legal. Some of y'all do some illegal stuff. You'll do underhanded stuff. I'm not lumping you in at all. And if you got a problem with that, you can go kick rocks. I can care less. It's just, it is what it is.
First stop on the way home. Lulu's in Waikiki.
The whole time she's plotting on this dude. So that's basically all I had to say. You got to be careful. It's like whether you're going abroad to another country and you're just having fun, or whether you're planning on bringing your scooch back here. It's up to you. But the bottom line is you got to be careful because times don't change. It's like you got to make sure that you stay abreast of everything that's going on. You got to make sure you stay on top of it. You got to make sure you leverage your assets. You got to make sure that you stay on top of it. That's the bottom line.
So mas better if you bring faith in the States and you're going to work there. Maybe yes.
But the issue is how. Because in America, I'm homeless. I don't make enough money to afford to live anywhere.
So sad.
Yeah.
To be continued.